Today we're going to be talking about the goals that I've planned for 2023. Before we get into it, I just wanted to welcome all the new faces to the channel. In the last video, I actually set a goal to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. Now, after I uploaded the last video, we went from 1,000 subscribers to now over 2,600 subscribers, just destroying that goal in like the first day of the year. So now I have to reestablish my YouTube goals for the year. I'll set a new number for 5,000. So if you guys want to help me reach the goal of 5,000 subs by the end of 2023, let's smash the sub button, hit the like button if you enjoy this video. Most of my videos, I just set a topic and I just ramble about them for 20 minutes. So if you enjoy that sort of content, this is perfect for you. I will also try to put together some videos related to certain bosses or certain goals that I'm working towards. But for the most part, it's going to be mostly rambles. So I've put together 10 goals that I have set for myself for this year. Now there's a good balance of goals. Some of them will be AFK, some of them I can do on mobile. Others I need to be on my setup. They're like more PVM related and require me to be in full focus. Now, so what I've done for each category on this goal list is I've associated some sort of value of hours towards it, just so I can see exactly how much percent of my year I probably could estimate that I'll be doing it. Now, first I'll just talk about the criteria or like the rates that I was using to determine whether or not this could be completed in the year. Basically, I estimated, how much I could achieve in like an hour of doing this particular activity, and then I was able to estimate, based on the rates of getting said item or rates of getting this much XP, I could estimate based on my rate how many hours it would take. Now, the rates that I've set, for example, it could be the amount of kills of a boss that I can do in an hour. Now, I've been very generous with this so that I don't end up setting goals that are way out of reach. For example, if I set a goal of, say, killing so many Hydra, I'm not going to set it to like 30 KC an hour, like 32 KC an hour, whatever the Hydra efficient rate is. I'm going to set it so that I can, underestimate it. So there's a less likely chance that I'm disappointed or, I set goals that are way out of reach. Now, the first goal for 2023, this is a big one. You probably saw it from the bank video. It's an obvious one. It's going to be 100 mil Herblore. At the start of the year, we were at 37.7 million Herblore XP, which means that we need to get at least 63 or so more mil XP over the course of the year. Now, I have that in the bank. If I use everything that I have and I do a little bit more farming, it's doable. Now, the rate for Herblore that I've estimated is about 125,000 per hour. Now, the rate for making attack potions with irrits is what, like 250,000 an hour? So I've estimated about half that, mostly because a lot of my Herblore isn't done at my setup. I'm not going to be making pots instantly once they're done. I'm going to be clicking on them, making the potions, and I'm probably going to lose a few seconds in between because, I'm doing it on the side, either doing work or when I'm AFKing or when I'm eating. I'm not going to be actively doing Herblore. It's going to be like my multitasking skill for the year. And that's why I've estimated at about 500 hours. Yeah, the rate's about 125,000. Obviously, there's other things we have to take into effect. We also have to farm some more herbs. We also have to get secondaries for all of those herbs. So all those are going to take time. And that's going to, lower the effective rate of the Herblore. So yeah, 500 hours I've attributed to Herblore. That's the biggest one by far. That one I'd really like to get. It's a goal that I've set, a little higher than what I have right now in my bank. So hopefully I can hold myself to it and farm some more. The next goal that I have is 200 mil cooking. And yeah, it's if you saw my current XP, 194 mil, you would say that's not much of a goal. That's like a day of cooking. From the bank video, you can see I have a ton of sturgeon, 292,000 sturgeon, and that means I have to cut individually every sturgeon. I have to click on the knife, click on the sturgeon, turn it into caviar, and then do it again. It doesn't just cut them all at once. You have to individually click each one back and forth. And that means I have to be actively doing that. Because if I just do the AFK cut method, it's far, far slower. And if I'm going to be AFKing something, it's going to be Herblore. So I'm going to be actively cutting sturgeon at some point. And I've estimated I can cut about 8,400 per hour. So we're looking at like 35 hours. And cutting all that sturgeon is going to yield cooking XP, 15 XP or something per sturgeon, which means 200 mil cooking will be achieved. And that's the first 200 mil goal for the year. Next big goal for the year is 200 mil fishing. Now this is going to be done a little differently than how normally someone would get 200 mil fishing. Obviously, I'm at 186 mil right now, so that's 14 million experience to get throughout the year. I've set the goal of getting most of this fishing through anglers, and that could change. I could end up not liking anglers too much and just start going back to barbarian fishing or do a little bit of drift net fishing. There's many different methods that I could do. For now, I've estimated that I do it through anglers. It works out to be around 300 hours of angler fishing, and I've assumed a rate of like 30K an hour, which is slightly more than anglers in some ways. So this is going to be a mix of ways of getting XP, but regardless, it's going to be about 300 hours that I've allocated towards fishing. I want to make sure that I don't reach 200 mil fishing and then have no angler fish left in the bank, and then I'm forced to do post 200 mil fishing for anglers. So that's why I've kind of, set a goal of using the last little bit of XP that I have left just to get angler fish. Alright, enough of the skilling goals. Let's go on to something PVM related. Now, the first PVM goal that I have for the year is to complete full Armadillo. Now, I don't have to specifically get every Armadillo armor piece, but I would like to get enough pieces that I can fortify my Missouri armor. So right now I haven't fortified it yet, so I'm missing out on a lot of, defensive bonuses. And if I end up getting the full fortified Missouri, that would unlock a lot of content, such as going to Nex. Could be also going to Corp. Going back to Corp, having high mage defense for Corp is nice. Could be great for Inferno, the increased DPS from the range damage, as well as the accuracy over Carols, and being tankier too. That would be great for, tanking the waves. Now, right now I'm at 161 KC at Armadillo. I've set a goal for maybe 500 more KC, which I've estimated is about 40 hours. It's hard to exactly calculate that because you also have to take into account for the time it takes to get KC. Obviously, being in hardcore, I don't have the option of going to that Wildy dungeon where you can get the ecumenical keys that you can use to get into the room. Instead, I have to kill 40 AVNCs outside of the room before I can enter. So that's going to take away from my task. That means that each AVNC's task is only going to be like 2 trips of Armadillo, right? Maybe if it's a bigger task, 3 max. But it's like 40 KC that I just lose instantly. So Armadillo is a little rough, and I've set a goal for 500 more. Next up is some more PVM, but more of the skilling related PVM. It's Sire. So I'll be gaining Slayer XP while going for the Sire pet. I've just estimated it based on the pet rate. I'd like to, go for the full pet rate this year of 2,500 KC, which means I'll be well over 5,000. Now, the sires that I kill an hour, I've estimated to be about 18. I don't know what the actual efficient rate is, but I get about 18. Obviously, I'm slow. I don't have the best gear. It's better than nothing, though. 18 kills an hour. I estimate 2,500 KC, we're looking at 140 hours of doing Sire. With these RNG drops, you could go lucky or you could go unlucky. So I've just, for now, estimated at the current pet rate. I'm sure with these pet goals that I'm going to be talking about, some of them I'm going to go lucky and some of them I'm going to go unlucky. And they're going to balance out, hopefully, in the long run. Yep, so that's 140 hours of Sire. And then next up, we're going to be doing 3,000 Calphite Queen. We do need to do a little more than 3,000 from KQ, just because if I want to do all 100 mil Herbalore, I have to somehow get all of the Potato Cactus and all the Zami Wines to do all that. So 3,000 KQ is not going to be enough, but I've just, for now, set it at the pet rate. That's about 28 kills or so an hour, which I estimate to be 110 hours of KQ. And now, obviously, I want to get the pet, so if I don't get it after 3,000, I'm going to keep on going. I'm not going to stop. And I'll probably end up doing more KC than that in the long run. We'll see. Alright, next up is the Prime pet. I have the Dagonoth Supreme pet. I have the Dagonoth Rex pet. I've spooned both of those. So the last goal for the Dagonoth's pet is the Prime. At the start of 2023, we're at 425 Prime KC. And I've set a goal to get the full 5,000 KC. And now what we need to remember is when you're doing Prime, you're also doing Rex, you're also doing Supreme. Just because I have those pets doesn't mean I'm going to stop. It's not really ideal just to kill one boss and wait for it to respawn. Because I have all the other pets, I'm going to be killing all 3 regardless. That's going to, make the task go by faster, make it so I can, get more Slayer XP an hour and also bank more bones an hour. And I've estimated to kill 15,000 Dagonoths, so we can maybe kill 75 an hour. We're looking at maybe 200 hours of the Dagonoth Kings. Next goal, also kind of a Slayer goal, is to get 100 KC at the Inferno. Right now, we are at 68 KC, still no pet, and hopefully getting 100 KC would be enough to get the SawKID. And that would also put us at rank 2, I believe, on the high scores, and we'd be pushing for that rank 1 potentially. So I estimate, if you do an Inferno on average every 80 minutes, we're probably gonna be looking at somewhere around 40 hours of Inferno. And this lines up perfectly with our other goals. We don't have to go out of the way and do Inferno tasks because we can do it just through Slayer. Durdel can assign us the Tazar tasks while we're going for Sire and while we're going for KQ at the same time. The second last major goal that I have is to kill about 5,000 Sarachnis. Now this one I've set at 5,000 because it's the exact number that I need to kill to get all of the red spider eggs. Now for Herblore I need about 25,000 red spider eggs for my snapdragons that I have. So I estimate that it's going to take about 5,000 KC to get 25,000 red spider eggs. Now I'll admit I don't really know much at all about Sarachnis and how many I can kill per hour. It's been a long time since I've killed Sarachnis, and I haven't really ever done a full-out session of it. I've just set an estimation of 33 an hour, which is much, much less than the Irony HP rate of 58, I believe. And that's because, well, I assume my gear is much worse than that. Like, I don't have a scythe, I don't have Torva or whatever people would be using, I don't have the Missouri upgraded stuff for the extra tankiness, so I'll be doing less kills per trip as well as it'll be killing it slower. So I've just put an estimation of around 33. I think it's pretty fair. And that's going to take about 150 hours. Now the final goal I haven't done too much calculations for because it's a combination of multiple goals. The first one is I'd like to open all 1,200 of my crystal keys. That means first I need to get enough crystal shards to upgrade them into the enhanced crystal keys. Next, I set a goal of trying to use all of my totems from Skotizo. At the start of the year, we're sitting at like 350 or so totems, which means 350 KC at Skotizo. Now, if you aren't aware, Skotizo drops clues, hard clues every kill, as well as an uncommon chance of getting an elite clue. So a goal I've set for myself for this year is to do all the Skotizo, do all the Elven chests, and as well as do the clues from Skotizo. Now, the problem about hard clues is I can probably do about 50% of them due to wildy steps, so I might play around with hard clue juggling and stuff like that so that I can complete at least one hard clue for every 2 Skotizo kills. We'll have to see what I end up doing, but yeah, I'm planning on doing all the clues from it as well as all the clues that I get from doing all of the prior goals, all the Slayer pet grinds and stuff. I want to do all the clues. Sarachnis is also going to give a bunch of clues. This is going to be the year of the elites and the hards. I'm not going to touch mediums, not going to touch easies or beginners. Now, my goals don't just exist inside of RuneScape. I also have goals outside of RuneScape, whether it's fitness, whether it's work-related. In regards to my work, I have to go in every weekday, and currently the commutes, back and forth together is around a few hours. The project's almost about to come to an end, so there's a good chance that by the end of the year, the commute time is much, much less. Either I'll move to working at the head office instead of on site, or I'll change up the company I work for and find another job that either accepts working from home. And yeah, so hopefully by the end of the year, my goal is that I'm in a much better place IRL where I don't have to commute 2 hours back and forth and I'm not kind of like scrambling for time. Content-wise, I want to keep doing Twitch and YouTube. For those that don't know, as of this year, I've been streaming on Twitch every single day, just for 2 hours after work. And on YouTube, I've been trying to upload every week. And obviously some weeks I'm probably not going to have a lot of footage recorded or things to cover, so maybe I'll have to think about possibly, going over updates or just giving my thoughts and opinions on like a dev blog. But yeah, let me know if that's something you're interested in, just hearing me ramble on about some update that's potentially coming out. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you around.